Hey everyone, hope everybody is doing absolutely great. Today I'm here to talk about a very interesting topic. Now, this is a topic which is very close to my heart. It's quite different from the other topics I talk about, but it's something really useful, and I'm sure it's gonna help a lot of y'all. And that is 12 things you must know as a solo traveler. Yeah. So, isn't that interesting? I have been a solo traveler and I love traveling, and I think it's very important to know some things before you start traveling on your own. And I hope this video is going to be useful. I would really recommend you to watch this till the end if you ever plan or you want to, take off that thing from your bucket list. Then you should definitely watch my video till the end. I will try to make it short and crisp. uh, I always say that, but I'm gonna try my best. So yeah, let's get started. So there's always a purpose why people do solo trips, right? For me, my purpose could be different from your purpose, but my purpose for primarily starting on solo traveling was not because I was a loner or because I did not want to be around people. It's because I wanted, I was going through a very negative phase in my life, and I wanted to sort of explore myself, learn more about myself. So what I did was I started traveling. I used to always enjoy myself whenever I used to go out and just be around nature. I used to really enjoy that, and even if I had to explore new places, I used to really love that. And at the same time, I when I was going through this phase, I also realized that there is a strong spiritual side of me which I hadn't ever explored, and that side came out very strongly when I went through a very low phase of my life. And that's when I started seeking. For me, spirituality did not mean just praying and doing fasting and all of that. Of course, that's a part of it, but for me, spirituality personally means about exploring and understanding your purpose in this universe. What is your purpose? What is the purpose of my life? And I wanted answers for these things. So that's why I felt that the spirituality and traveling really worked very well. It blended very well together in my life, and it really helped me heal. And that is my purpose of traveling. Now, your purpose can be anything, but then obviously, whenever you think of solo traveling, people have their own inhibitions. They're like, oh my god, do I have to be all by myself? Like, it sounds very adventurous, but is it realistic? I have to be on my own. Am I going to just be alone somewhere? What if somebody tries to do something? What about the safety? Stuff like that. Obviously, these are logical questions. These are questions you can't ignore, but at the same time, you should always believe in yourself. Whenever you want to do something, I really feel you should do that, not impulsively, but definitely have a thing in your mind, have some clarity, and then go for it. So I feel that if you're a bit scared or you're having inhibitions that whether I'll be able to do it or I'll not be able to do it, I would just say go for it. It's always nice to take risks and then see what happens later. Of course, you have to consider a lot of things in your mind before you travel, but I would just say that just explore, and try to do things, because these are all experiences. Like, solo traveling is also an experience, and it's it's an experience of a lifetime. Like, I would cherish that till I die. So stuff like that, I think it's very important. And so I'll start with giving you the 12 important things which you should keep in mind, and hopefully you'll be good to go after this video. Okay. And so the first thing is, read about the country you want to travel. I'm not saying just go deep, do Wikipedia, do all of that. I'm not saying that. What I want to say is, if probably you're traveling to a country, say France, just learn a bit about, or read a bit about, not learn, read a bit about the culture, the kind of people they are, what's the vibe of the city, what's the vibe of the country, what's special about that particular country. This the basic greetings. How do you say hello in that language? Like, say, for example, France. In French, how do you say hello? How do you greet somebody else? It's very important to see, everybody speaks English. Like, English is spoken in every country, literally, but it's always nice to have know a little about that country, so that people will, when you go and visit that country, and when you're like talking to people, and then they would be like, oh wow, they feel a lot more happier when they talk to you. So it's nice to read about it, so that you know how people are, the culture, the way they talk, the way they, maybe they sleep early, or maybe they party late. You just learn a bit about the culture, the kind of foods they eat. Are they smokers, non-smokers? Just read a bit about the country you're visiting. It just could be just brushing through just things. It wouldn't take you more than 15 minutes. For me personally, I just glance through it and then I'm good to go. So that's first thing, you read about the place where you're going to. Okay, next point is book a hostel. So I visited a lot of countries now, but when I first visited, my first visit was Paris. And when before I decided, so that was the first time when I decided, like, obviously I did a lot of solo travels in the UK, but it was the first travel I was doing outside UK, like going abroad. And obviously I was a bit scared, going through a trauma, healing, all of that is happening at the same time. And obviously you have your own inhibitions at the same time. And I heard a lot of stories about um, different things about the place and stuff like that. So what I did was I booked a hotel for myself, and then I was like, I just had a hotel, but then a very, very dear friend of mine, she had traveled like to 35 countries, and I cannot thank her more, because she was the one who suggested me, Samana, like, do not just cancel that hotel right away, book a hostel for yourself. And I was like, hostel? Like, I don't know, I'm not quite sure about it. Then we searched on Hostel World, like the best hostels, and you know what, literally every country has like hostels, especially in Europe. And you have the ratings of the hostels, and most of these and then the ones which have like 9.5, 10 ratings, they're like really, really good, like almost as good as a hotel. But the benefit of a hostel is you get to meet a lot of people, a lot of other fellow solo travelers, get to meet a lot of new friends, and I think that was the best decision I ever made. And the best experience, the vibe of a hostel is so different, and you wouldn't want to trade off for anything else. So she just told me, like, you wouldn't want to go to a hotel all by yourself and sit there and do nothing. Instead, if you're in the hostel, the vibe is so different, and I literally met so many people, made so many friends, and then you also hang out with them, and it's just like so different. You forget yourself for a few days, and that's exactly what happened with me. You forget your problems, and then you just blend in. So that's very important. Book a hostel. Book a hostel for yourself if you're a solo traveler. Yeah. Next point, the third point is always carry a shoulder, like a sling bag when you're traveling, especially if you're a girl. For a guy, um, obviously you have your jeans and your pockets in the front. I would always recommend you to carry a sling bag, so that if there is any issue of like robbery, like kind of like mugging and stuff, it's you're safe, right? I mean, if you have a sling bag, not nobody can easily grab it from you. So basically, and I would say whenever you're traveling, keep your passport and all the important documents, whatever you have, residence permit, keep it in the hostel or in the hotel, wherever you're staying, in the locker room, lock it. When you're traveling, just carry very little cash and your card, one card, and that is it. You don't have to carry your ID proofs, you don't have to do anything. Do not carry it when you're traveling in and around the city, like the touristy place, especially the touristy places. That's where, that's where a lot of like, you'll find a lot of like crimes and stuff like that happening, and that's because they are too crowded and too touristy. So the guys know that these guys have money, so and it's so crowded and you get lost, so you wouldn't even know who's picked stuff from you. So you got to be very careful. So always carry a sling bag, have minimum cash and a card and nothing else. All your ID proofs, passport, everything needs to be logged inside the locker of your hostel room. Got it? So that's point number 3. uh Next point is have a tentative plan. Like, I wouldn't say like plan everything before you go. Like, I wouldn't say that, because everything doesn't work according to plans, we all know that. What I would say is, just if you have like a 3-day trip, you just plan like, okay, day one, okay, morning, maybe I would just go see the museum. Especially like a lot of the touristy places, you'll have to like book tickets for it, in order to like visit the place or view the place. So what you do is, you just plan like, if you ask me personally, if you have like a 3-day trip, I would say plan something in the morning, like for each day or for half a day, like, and just the rest of the day maybe spend in walking tours or shopping or whatever you want to do, or eating or whatever you want to do. But do one nice activity every single day, like visit an iconic place or do a nice local activity. So just have a tentative plan and then stick by it. Okay, I would definitely recommend walking tours as well. Like, you can like visit places and you can see them. But if you want to really understand culture, like for me personally, whenever I visit a new country, I always take up the walking tours. Some of them are paid, some of them are free, so you can register and you can go for it. And they're really, really good, because you actually understand the culture and the buildings, like what's the story behind it, and that really intrigues me. So, and that's also, they take you to a lot of like different secret spots, which hidden places, which you probably would have never noticed or known about. So it's really good. So I definitely recommend even walking tours. Okay, next point, networking. Now, one point of traveling solo is, you want to definitely network with other people, like socialize with people, like get to know other people. So that's exactly another reason why I tell you to live in a hostel, because that's a nice way of knowing someone, knowing not someone, knowing a lot of people and becoming friends. And then I remembered that I have met people from different places, from Australia, America, Brazil, Mexico. Like, it's crazy. It's a crazy bunch, and people come with different backgrounds and different cultures, and it's such a nice blend, because everyone's like having a different, like, it's just so different. Everybody's so different, and that's such a nice blend. I feel variety is the spice of life, and if you have like so many different kind of people in the same room, it's beautiful. So I really love that. So use solo traveling as an opportunity to meet people. It's not only in hostels, I would say. Whenever you're traveling, you can obviously meet your hostel friends, travel together with them. Then you can meet people at restaurants, randomly. You never know, you can meet people anywhere. You can meet all kinds of people. Even at the shop, the guy can be like really friendly, and then you can just understand things of and learn things from that person. So it's very important to network, when you're solo, when you socialize, when you solo travel, because that way you understand a lot about other people, you get to make new friends. Like what I did, like I have met so many people and now they're all my friends on Instagram. Some of them I met them when they were here in London, and after that, like we plan to meet again in Christmas and stuff like that. So it's all there, you know. I mean, it's very important to socialize, and solo traveling is a great way to do that, right? Next point is love yourself and spend time with yourself. Now, this trip which you take for solo traveling, of course it's about networking, of course it's about meeting people, socializing, doing all of that, but it's also about spending time with yourself. It's about exploring your own self. It's about understanding what you can do. um Me personally, I think I did a great job in understanding myself. Like, I remember there was this one time when I was in Italy, in Venice. I was just sitting, there was a church in the quieter part of Campraggio. It's the quieter part of Venice, uh, Campraggio, and I was just sitting outside a church. It was absolutely like pin drop silence. There was no one there. It was a stormy afternoon, and I could see a man with his boat just, trying to go back home because it was stormy and it was so quiet. And I I mean, it was one of the most memorable things for me because I felt so much peace. I mean, I couldn't find that peace anywhere, and I found it all by myself in a place, in a land where nobody knew me and I didn't know anyone. So it's things like that, and you will learn a lot about spirituality, which is also very important to sort of like explore and understand yourself and understand like there is a purpose for everything what you're doing, and there is a reason why things happen the way it happens, and you kind of like explore yourself in a very nice manner. That's very important. Next point is take help. Now when you're traveling alone, there will be a lot of times when you get lost, obviously. Like for me personally, I'm handicapped. I cannot function without Google Maps. I cannot function without any kind of maps. Like I am so bad at geography and roads. So for me, like if I do not have a phone, a mobile in my hand, I'm lost. I'm like I don't know what I'll do. So it's very important to, in such situations, or even if you're not in such situation, it's always important when you're like confused, especially in a new place, ask for help. You are There's nothing to get embarrassed because you do not want to be at a wrong place, or in a difficult situation just because you don't know something or you don't know about that place. So it's very important, especially when you're like outside the whole day. There's a lot of probability that your phone runs out of charge. There are a lot of things which can happen. So it's always nice. I always ask help, even if I know that, okay, I'm like 90% sure that, okay, this is the train I need to board. I will still ask someone, and I will just be sure, because there are a lot of times when I've goofed up and I've boarded the wrong train. So now I'm like super careful. So I would recommend you the same. Always take help. Do not feel ashamed or shy to ask for help. It's nothing wrong. And people are so kind, Honestly, people are very kind. You just have to meet the right people. You just have to be nice. People are going to be nice to you. People are very kind. People will help you. Yeah, so do that definitely. Okay, and when you talk to people, ask them for their recommendations, especially the locals, and they will tell you what's the best there in the city, and that's how it is. The next point is go local. Whenever, I think whenever you're in a country, you should definitely explore the local culture, try the local cuisine. I think it's very nice to actually explore that. I remember that whenever I travel, I always make sure that I try something very local in that place, and it's so nice, so definitely, because see, you get everything everywhere, but you get like for example, Belgium, you get waffles everywhere, but the waffles you get in Belgium, you get it only in Belgium. Like, you do not get that taste anywhere else, period. So that's how it is. So you have to like understand what's most famous there, or what kind of food is like most popular, and then you have to try and go local for sure. Yeah. Okay, next is definitely 100% do a pub crawl. A pub crawl is the best thing ever. Like, I tried it for once and I fell in love with it. So pub crawl, for those of y'all who do not know, it's basically they take you to 2 3 different pubs, local pubs, and uh like you, there would be several other solo travelers who would have come, and then you get to like talk to each other, socialize, like just have a good night. I did that in Paris first, and I loved it, and it was so good. It was like something I cannot ever forget it. So, and I made a lot of friends, and I did that in every other country I went to later, and it was the best thing. Like, I'm friends with them, and it's like the vibe of the country is so different. You do not want to miss the vibe. So the dance, the music, it's groovy and it's lovely, and you have these people from different countries coming together. It's just so much fun and joy. So definitely do a pub crawl. Yeah. Next point is carry souvenirs. Definitely, I do that. So whenever I travel a new place, I always carry something from that country. Um, I have a tendency to like always give other people, but I never give anything to myself. I always buy stuff for my parents, and whenever I get a souvenir for them. But for myself, I always, take a postcard. So even if you do not want to like buy anything expensive, always like you can take a postcard. That's really really like, it's nothing, it's like it's priceless, and you will have it for your entire life. So always carry a postcard, because that will, and you know what I do, I just put it on my wall. It's right here, and it reminds me about my journey and my experiences about solo traveling. Like, I wouldn't trade off with anything else for sure. Yeah. Next point is take like manage your finances. Like, especially when you're traveling abroad, it's very important how you allocate your finances. It's not like you like something, and it's just like impulsively just spending everything on one thing. You definitely do not want to do that. You want to like allocate your finances well, because obviously you go to any place, you have like a limited budget. Especially if you're a solo traveler, I'm assuming you do not like look for luxury. You want to look for experiences, and that's exactly what we solo travelers look for. We look for experiences, and as experiences, I think it's very important to spend on local, like the culture, the food. If you're a foodie, like I am a foodie, I spend a lot of my money on food. I spend a lot of my money on experiences. Like, I love adventure, like I live for it. If you ask me to go bungee jumping, I would be like all up for it. Like, I am that person. You can be somebody who loves to like try new experiences, like try a new local experience. So it can be anything. Like, just spend money wisely, and make sure you try different things. Like, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Like, make sure you try everything in that country, and so that you don't miss out on anything. At the same time, you've managed your finances as well, if you know what I mean. Cool. Now that's it. And then after that, the last point, I think I have not missed anything, and it's just like the last thing I would say is just be confident. I think um you might, like, when I first traveled, to be honest, I had a mix. obviously majority people would obviously encourage you, the especially people who've already solo traveled and stuff like that. They would be like, ooh, that's awesome, Samara, you're like so strong and stuff. But then there'll be other people who would be like, oh my god, like, why are you going alone? What is wrong with you? You're already not fine. Why would you want to do that to yourself? And then some people will have other opinions where like something's gonna happen to you, you know, don't go and stuff like that. See, one thing what I learned from my life, and I really, really believe and tell this to myself every single day, is that in this universe, in this world, everybody has an opinion, right? Everybody will give you your opinions. It's nice to hear them, but you should do what your gut says, what your heart says. And I feel that it's nice to respect everybody's opinion, but you do not have to impose that on yourself. Like, just because they've said it, it's not the gospel truth, right? You need to live it and experience it. And I hadn't like known this for a long time. Like, sometimes I used to just get so influenced, and a lot of my not lot some of my decisions were so influenced by other people, and they were wrong, you know. So it's very important to listen to everyone. They could be your parents, they could be your friends, they could be your well-wishers and everyone, but at the same time, do what your gut says. If you're confident that you're gonna like do it, you will do it. Nobody can stop you. And that is something very, very important to remember, especially women who are traveling. I would say, believe in yourself. Like, you can do it. If I can do it, anybody can do it. So honestly, I feel you should just take all my points, just make notes, and if you just follow this, you will have like a very, very good solo trip. I can promise you that. So yeah, that's it in my video. If you have any questions related to solo trips, travel, let me know. But this is it for now. Thank you so much for watching my video. I'm so glad that I've got like a lot of more subscribers, and thank you for that. And hope you keep watching my videos, and see ya. Cheers.